but don't be stupid. Don't get into this, I'm gonna work out 7 days a week nonsense. Hey there, Coach Devin here. My nose is getting better, as you can see, so I'm pretty pumped about that. I'm excited to have that new nose, but let's talk about something important, not my nose. You think you have to be perfect all the time, right? That's what you hear on TV. You're like, no days off, never eat any junk food. I hear this stuff from clients all the time. People are always saying to me, Devin, can't eat any junk food. You don't eat junk food, right? And I go, okay, yeah, actually I do eat junk food. That's ridiculous. Or people say, you know, you must work out 7 days a week, 2 hours a day. And I go, no, I don't do that. That's ridiculous. Look, at the end of the day, the one thing we have in society nowadays, we have this attitude that everything has to be perfect and you're going to have to do everything perfectly all the time. And that's not life. It's not reasonable. I mean, look, you can be the best employee in the world, but sometimes you're going to, you know, have a slow day at work and you're not going to get as much done as you think you should. You can be the best parent in the world and say, man, I am a great parent, and then you have a day that, you know what, your kids drive you crazy, and, you know, next thing you know, it's a hard day and it didn't go very well. Those things happen, and we have to accept the fact that those things happen and say, okay, they happen, it's okay. And fitness is actually a perfect example of that. If you think you're going to eat perfectly, and the one thing people do wrong all the time is they jump in there and they're like, I am going to never eat junk food again. Okay, that's stupid. Like I said in the intro, you're always going to eat junk food, guys. It's part of life. And if you say you're not going to eat junk food, then you're lying to yourself. Like it doesn't work. If you say you're going to work out 7 days a week, you will stop working out after a while because you'll stop doing 7 days a week because you'll just think, you know, this is ridiculous. I can't possibly keep this up, and then you won't do it. Setting yourself up for failure in those situations is bad. You got to think about having days off and having time off and having down days and having cheat meals and all those things. Nobody gets fit, nobody gets healthy doing, you know, the most of the most of the most all the time. Nobody does. This is why people are always amazed. I hear all the time people say to me, Devin, you must never eat junk food. And I think it's hilarious. I'm like, what? But what? I have junk food all the time. Like every Friday night I have pizza night and watch movies with my kids. Like that's just something I do. I've done it for years. I don't plan to stop. Or they say you must, you know, never stop exercising. You exercise 7 days a week. I'm like, no, I don't exercise 7 days a week. You can't do that. In reality, 4 to 5 days a week is all you need. Unless you want to be uber fit, and in that case, maybe 6 days in a week, but I would suggest you work out no more than 4 to 5 days in a week. You don't need it. And really, 3 days a week will get you some results, especially if you're not doing anything right now. And those are the things you need to remember, that you can be a person who's not done anything in your life and you work out 3 days a week, you see a big difference, because that's a whole lot more, 300% more than you were doing before, right? You got to think of it in that way. It's baby steps, guys. Baby steps, small steps, moving forward in a reasonable manner. That is the way you get fit. That is the way you do things that work. You set yourself up sustainable so that, and you have a sustainable workout program and a sustainable plan, because if you have that sustainable program and a sustainable plan, you will be successful. If you say 7 days a week, you'll never do it, and then you get depressed and you quit and all those other things happen, right? And if you have a trainer that's saying work out 7 days a week, fire them. They shouldn't be telling you what to do. That's just not reasonable. It doesn't work that way. Small steps, right? Everything, it's kind of like Neil Armstrong said when he landed on the moon. That's one small step for a man. Everything is baby steps, and especially in fitness, it's baby steps. You don't have to be perfect today. Your food just has to be better than it was yesterday. You don't have to have the greatest, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger workout in the world. It just has to be more than yesterday and a little better than yesterday. That's the trick. Don't get into this mindset where you think you have to win everything and you think you have to destroy everything and every leg day has to be crushing and you have to PR every week. Nobody has a new personal record. Those of you wondering, that's what it means, personal record. If you think you have to get a new personal record every week, stop fooling yourself. You won't. People post that stuff online and they're like, new PR, but the thing is, you're seeing a lot of different people's feeds. And you're seeing a lot of, if you're like me, you're following a lot of fitness stuff and you see all these different feeds about, you know, new PR here, new PR there. Well, that's all great and good, but it's not the same person getting a PR every week. You don't do better every week. You take little micro steps. That's how fitness works. It's micro steps. Start small, continue small, and small steps will lead you to enormous changes if you give it a chance. But don't be stupid. Don't get into this, I'm gonna work out 7 days a week nonsense, because you won't win. Hashtag no days off. You'll be hashtag every day off at the other end of it if you don't pay attention and you don't listen to what I'm saying here. Try it, I promise. Little less quite often is more. If you have comments, questions, things you want me to talk about, write them up down below. I'd love to hear from you. Don't do too much, relax a little bit. Give yourself days off and you will progress farther, I promise. Have yourself a great day, everybody. Don't fight, be awesome.